Hello and welcome to the True Pop Culture 7 show. I'm your host, True Pop, here to laugh and think about pop culture stupidity. With me today are my wonderful guests, Fat Steven, Tom Connors, and Shagsworth. And today, we'll be talking all things about Disney, along with some very other fun segments for the show. Uh, yeah, as I was selecting these news articles and looking through them, I just noticed one particular pattern, and in that they're all Disney related stuff. And it's just literally seeing like the Babylon Tower fall. This news week or this month in particular looked absolutely terrible with Disney. So can't wait to dissect that news, those news pieces with you guys. Love to know some of your thoughts. And as always, thank you so much for coming on the show. Fat Steven, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the crowd what you do?
Not really. There's too much bigger, popular people here right now with better
Oh, okay,
beards and bitter beer. No, I'm Fat Steven. I do a lot of gaming. I am also the graphics artist for that Park Place, Valiant Renegade, and WWE Pro. You can find me pretty much everywhere that they let me. Hi.
Shagsworth.
Hi, I'm the Shagsworth. I feel like I should turn my camera off. There we go. um, I'm here on the YouTube. I'm on Twitter. I talk about things when I can. I make videos on pop culture stuff, political stuff. I play video games occasionally, and I run a show on YouTube called The Midweek Hump on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Mountain Time. And I have a new podcast called Ready, Set, Shag, where I talk one-on-one with creators I find inspiring, people I find inspiring, and kind of get back into long-form discussion and learn about, I guess, like I said, people I admire and respect. So that's what I got going on.
All right. Yeah. Cheers for an intro. Tom, would you like to introduce yourself?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll end the show there.
But I will,
Thank you,
since
everyone,
you
for
asked.
watching.
Yeah, I'm Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark. Of course, you can find me just about everywhere on the internets.
Yeah, I'm very keen to get your thoughts on these recent Disney news. What is this? This, my friend, is the True Pop Culture 7 show. And hail back to you as well. Although not in the Hitler sense, the hail as in the standard greeting. I say we'll first, before we cover the news, we'll get to the first segment of the show. I think from now on, the show will be starting with this new little segment, and that is Sucked into Pop Culture.
And finally, the piece de resistance.
All right, so in this segment of the show, we essentially talk about anything pop culture wise we've consumed this week. It can be anything: TV show, book, film, could be even action figures for all I know. For me, I've been recently starting to rewatch House of the Dragon. Very much looking forward to season 2. I haven't watched all of it yet. I think I dropped the season at like episode 5 or so, where they essentially grew up. So now I'm just gonna watch it all with my siblings. Very much looking forward to that. And I think I also watched. I can't remember the title of the movie. It's escaping me now. I think I've watched The Train to Busan.
Nice.
Essentially. That was such a goddamn good, great movie. I think it might be up there as one of the greatest zombie pieces of film, like TV, ever, essentially. Oh, we've got some new people welcoming us in the chat. Aloha! Thank you for coming on. Thank you for watching. We've also got... How can this be? Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Fat, what have you recently consumed pop culture wise?
Well, like I said backstage, I did all of Jackson's Rings movies, so all 6 of them, and Hobbit, all the way to the Return of the King. When I'm not doing that, usually in the background, I either have Frasier, Cheers, or South Park playing. Caught up on Skinwalker Ranch, still loving that, except for the last episode, which was, you can tell they were trying too hard. And pretty much watching the fall of Disney in real time and not just their stock.
Definitely.
Mhm.
It's glorious to see. Have you heard about Andy Serkis recently? He's doing like an audiobook for the Silmarillion, essentially.
No.
Yeah, because he voiced like I don't know if it was The Hobbit or just the Lord of the Rings film in general. Shags, would you know?
He did the Lord of the Rings. I'm actually like halfway through the Two Towers right now. He did a fantastic job.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like audiobooks, but if they can't deliver like their voice or like just the book itself, I feel like I turn it off.
Yeah, he's nice because he does a good blend of like not trying to mimic what Lord of the Rings is, but just enough of his own style that you kind of forget that it's Andy Serkis while you're doing it, but still trying to like stay faithful to the characters that we know from the screen. It's really well done. He's a master at his craft for sure.
I'll definitely check it out. Thanks.
Yeah, and the Silmarillion, that's an incredibly hard read. I found it hard to read the beginning of Lord of the Rings with the singing trees and whatnot, but
Don't you dare insult my aunts or
yeah,
Tom
well,
Bombadil. Don't do that.
I have a problem with Tom Bombadil. Okay, it's I don't know. I just find it really random that a singing tree is at the beginning of the journey. I don't remember seeing this in the movies. But yeah, I love The Hobbit. I did read The Hobbit, read it through all at once. I do have the Lord of the Rings on my shelf. Haven't touched it since I bought it, so probably should get back to it. Tom, what have you consumed?
Well, Beavis and Butthead is going right now in its 2nd season on Paramount Plus, so I've been enjoying that.
Nice.
I did watch Air this last week here, which was really good. The story about how Nike
That's been added
signed
to
Michael
Amazon.
Jordan.
Yeah,
the Matt Damon and Ben Affleck co-starring and directing. That was brilliant.
You can always expect great films from them. I mean,
yeah, and I mean it's just it's one of those movies. Once you start watching it, you can't stop. Like Tetris. Between those two right now, I'm really in my head are duking it out for best film of the year. And then there's another contender, actually, funnily enough, that just come out recently on Apple Films. I think Steven's seen it. Still, a Michael J. Fox movie.
Yeah, I watched that.
It's really interesting how they did it. Because I read Michael's book years ago, almost like 20 years ago, when he first kind of retired from acting, semi-retired. So you got another 20 years since then. So it was nice to catch up with him. Plus, for those who aren't too familiar with him, it does give you, a good amount of his background and what he struggled and went through to become an actor, and just how kind of like he became like an overnight success, and then only to hit like this brick wall, with the Parkinson's diagnosis. So yeah, it's a very crushing look at his life, very sincere, very honest, and they do a brilliant job of taking like actors and mixing them with his movies and some home movies. And him narrating, but they don't ever show the actor's face. So you always feel like you're just kind of there with Michael and his family and friends. It's kind of interesting how they did it. So it's kind of a movie mixed with a documentary.
Yeah, it's like they took all like it's like they took scenes and compiled it into like an episode. And by the time it ends, it honestly feels like his family represents what Family Ties was trying to deliver.
Kind of, but another brilliant piece of editing is how, because I'm sure many people have heard the story about how he was working on Family Ties. And the guy who was the head of the show decided not to tell him that he had an offer from Steven Spielberg to do Back to the Future, until they had decided that it wasn't working out with Eric Stoltz. And he's like, I have a confession to make. And, they play that out brilliantly in the movie because it's a story we've heard at least a half a dozen times for most people who are fans of Michael J. Fox or Back to the Future. And to see it play out the way they play it out in the movie is just... I don't know if you could visually do it a better way. Like it's brilliant because you get the exact kind of slapdashedness that Michael was dealing with at the time, and because he's like, he don't even remember that period of his life, because for 3 months straight, all he would do is get up, shoot Family Ties for 6 days a week, and then go to the Back to the Future set, shoot Back to the Future on nights, go to bed, and then on the weekends on Sunday he would shoot Back to the Future all day long on Sunday. So like it was just a whirlwind for 3 months for him, where like 3-4 hours of sleep a night.
What did you see the tweet after Still came out about how his character would vote or be embarrassed about the GOP? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, go look on his feed about that, and I'm not going to get any more into politics, but just look that up.
The thing is that documentary, is that where he said essentially, oh, you can do a reboot if you want of Back to the Future. I got paid.
He doesn't say it in the
matter.
documentary. I think it was for the promotion for it. He said it in some.
Okay, interesting.
I imagine.
Well, we've got some news in the chat. There's a sinking bush and Three Amigos. I don't know what Three Amigos is. Sorry, Monkey Jeebus. Is that Three Musketeers?
Three Amigos?
Do you know Shags? Three Amigos? I don't know. I don't know what that is.
It's Chevy Chase and Martin Short and Steve Martin movie.
We'll
See,
forgive
I'm
you for that.
writing all this stuff down. Have you guys seen The Killer of the Flower? I have. Looks interesting. Definitely, you can trust Martin Scorsese to make a good film. My only worry is that it might be a little preachy about, American colonization and whatnot. But yeah, it'll probably be good. I don't doubt it. It'll definitely be better than Irishman, because putting Robert De Niro and then de-aging him, I think that was just a completely wrong way to go about it. You just should have cast someone younger and then just progress with different actors. Would have made a lot more of a believable film, especially with the scene when he's punching someone. Also, late arrival, Culture Casino. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell the public what you do.
Sure, I do largely what all these other wonderful gentlemen here do. I comment on the business side of entertainment and just how flop ridden it's become lately. I mean, that seems to be what I've been doing. But no, I hang out with the likes of Fat Steven, the Shags, and of course my hetero life mate Tom Connors. So hi everybody. Culture Casino is where you can find me everywhere. So sorry I'm tardy. I apologize. So
hey, no worries. Listen, thank you so much for coming on. Definitely your perspective and Tom's will be worthwhile on all the Disney news that I've been collecting, essentially, all these little news pieces. We've just been discussing, we're doing the segment Sucked Into Pop Culture, and we each discuss what pop culture thing we consumed this week. So it can be anything like movie, series, comic book, or even action figure and whatnot. What have you recently consumed pop culture-wise?
Well, actually, is a series, it seems, that I'm producing, whether or not I want to, called I Saw a Movie So You Don't Have To. So my recent pop culture consumption was the latest Fast 10 movie.
Nice. Okay, how was that? I'm very interested to see what the thoughts are on that.
It was a movie. And if you're a fan of the Fast and the Furious franchise, you will enjoy this. The absurdity is still cranked up to 10. And, the nonsensical, this is how, things work in this universe, still exists. At least they didn't try to fly a car in space this time. So that's
all right. That's a relief.
Much better.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
No, but they enlisted the Transformers to fight the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
I think
they're gonna time travel with one of the a DeLorean essentially.
I think in the finale, which is Fast 11, which is where this all ends supposedly.
Apparently, it'll be a 3-parter though. I think Vin Diesel did say it's going to be a 3-parter, not a 2-parter, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Money.
It's too many films, but look, and much like Marvel, although it looks like people die, they never die in this, so who knows? But
exactly,
except for
they resurrect like the Tokyo Drift guy as well, and it's just,
Let's be real. These Fast and the Furious movies are basically like the Marvel equivalent of the Cannonball Run films now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's exactly.
Like to have everybody who's everybody in them.
Yeah.
You know, Dom's basically or whatever his real name is basically your Burt Reynolds. Yeah.
Oh, we've got a question from the chat. Is Brie Larson the best part?
If that's the case, then this movie is doomed.
It's interestingly enough, she was not terrible in this film. In fact, I commented during my review that
tells you how bad the rest of it is, though.
No. Honest, look,
there's no one who's going to convince me she's a decent actress. I saw Room. That kid acted circles around her. The only reason she won an Oscar is probably because of that kid. Oh, she is a horrible actress. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. I haven't seen The Room, but
At the end of the day, we know why fast movies are made. It's not technically for North America. It's for the other side of the world that love cars, and that's where they do the most financial income.
People here in England go crazy for it for some reason. I'm like, I don't see it. Why are you cheering?
The international market is what these films are made for now. Originally, they weren't. They were made for gearheads and car prawn people like me. Right, the guys that like tech and vehicles and stuff.
Culture. If it was starred by the guys from Top Gear and Fast and Furious was actually like Top Gear, I think it would have been much.
I'd watch that.
If you would have told me after Tokyo Drift though we'd be sitting here talking about 10 of these movies, I'd call you a liar. At that point, the franchise was dead.
Well, the second one was suspect. I mean, to be true, to be fair. Too Fast, Too Furious, and then Tokyo Drift.
Well, most people don't even know that third one was supposed to go straight to video.
It did not, and boy,
it tested so well that they put it in theaters. Yeah. And if it wasn't for that, we'd have never got that fourth film, which is the real reason why there's still a franchise today. Let's be real.
Yeah, and then because by the time they got to 5, Tom, they were back to like goofy, crazy world traveling stuff, and.
Unbelievable. No,
wow, I just read the comment. No, but I mean, when you get to Fast 5, which interestingly enough, this film starts with Fast 5. We're watching Fast 10, but the beginning of the film is Fast 5. So
okay, so I'm gonna need to do some homework on the Fast and Furious movies. Is that what you're
saying? I've never seen a single Fast and the Furious movie, and I don't plan on anytime soon.
Really?
I bought them all for my kid, but yeah, he's a fan. But I started watching the first when it came out when I owned my video store. And I'm just like, nope, this ain't for me. Like, it just wasn't my thing.
Well, and again, I mean, the international box office, the overseas market, it's not the domestic market here in the States, although it seems to be doing rather well. Yeah, there are explosions and gunfire and flying cars. And this makes the Dukes of Hazzard look like believable, the way they jump these vehicles and stuff. It's crazy.
The question is why Michael Bay hasn't directed a film yet,
the world might explode if he did. I mean,
we don't know, but like
that's like getting too many volatile things in the same room. Yeah.
At one point, John Cena literally flips a car across a divided highway.
CGI or actual practical?
I know it looked very practical, but the explosion later does not. So there is so much stuff in this. I mean. Cars falling 50 feet out of like C-130s, and landing on the road and being just fine.
I remember when they used to make movies be like, we're going to drop a car from a fucking helicopter. Pardon my French, but yes, do that. Like,
look, I mean, to a certain extent, I mean,
and they would drop a car from a helicopter. Like,
I think that works. But I mean, this is no worse than flying a tank.
Oh yeah, A-Team. Yeah.
Michael Bay,
that was fun.
Michael Bay needs to direct a Fast and Furious movie, and what they need to do is save the Earth by driving a vehicle into the core to restart it. So
I love that
everyone else can survive, and that's how the series ends. Is the whole team brings their egos to the center of the planet and they all explode and everyone else gets to live.
Why does this sound more like the Fast and Furious has turned into Operation Dumbo Drop?
Okay.
It's all about family.
Well, let me tell you, this movie's all about destroying the family, but I will say Jason Momoa is the bright spot of this film. That's what I'll say.
I thought you said it was Brie Larson. Make up our minds.
No, he said Brie Larson wasn't that bad, but Momoa, that's what I've been hearing, is pretty much the primo actor in this.
Yeah. And let me tell you,
no, I've expected that.
Let me tell you, that's not high praise.
The dude had to make out with Amber Heard in Aquaman. Come on, give him.
It's a lot of look. It's a dumb, fun film. If you can check your brain at the door, you probably enjoy it. But it's too long, and the fact that they're going to make it into 3. There you go, Eric. I like that idea. Fast and the Furious.
There, I think you hit on the main thing between Transformers and Fast and Furious that are a problem is the lengths. There is no excuse or reason these movies should be over an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours.
Agreed.
But that collaboration would be fantastic because you would hit both them teaming up with their own Transformer and they would coexist different attitude. Yeah.
And the toys. Think of the toys, guys.
The toys. Fast and the Transformers.
Yeah.
No, if you had the cast of Fast and Furious not doing Fast and Furious and just with Transformers, Michael Bay would be needed.
Too bad DreamWorks wasn't chummy with Universal anymore.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because if you look at the history of Transformers, whether it's the cartoons and other stuff, usually you're seeing they are always teamed up with Spike or some type of human being, right? And I'm not talking about the new crap that everyone's finally realizing about a clip, but it would have gone hand in hand.
Yeah, that was a funny comment. I don't think that relationship will ever get better because they're both competing for Legendary. So.
Definitely. So you'd recommend Fast X Casino, right?
Goodness, no. I mean, if you what? No, what I'm saying is, if you're a fan of these films, you won't be disappointed. If you are somebody who just can get pulled out of a movie rather easily, when the big ask is like every 15 seconds, then you may not have as much fun. I gave it a 5 out of 10. Or
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Sounds racist.
I gave Guardians of the Galaxy 3 a 5 out of 10.
There are actually 2 good girl fights in this, though. If you're into chick fights.
Okay. Oh, were they the ones that weren't apparently directed by a director because they were so? I'm pretty sure that's one of the actresses said that essentially, and that's just like stunning.
Oh wow, there's a lot of choreography in there. If it wasn't like navigated by a director, but okay,
so that line must have been BS essentially.
I
don't see how that's a good thing. Oh, we did it without a director. Okay. Anyway, thank you all for sharing your pop culture consumment. Let's get on.
I didn't share mine, but
oh wait, what?
You didn't share yours.
No, you introduced.
If no one cares, that's fine. But
I care.
I'm sorry, Shagsworth. Culture came in. I thought he was next.
Stealing the show.
Go on.
You inspire me, Shags.
Look. If he doesn't have his hair in a man bun, then he can speak.
Culture, you should have your beard in a man bun.
Okay.
Not that little thing. You kidding me?
Yeah, I know.
I'm working on it, Shags. I shaved my beard.
Hold on, Shags. Will this make it better? Here, let me find it for you.
Don't do it.
Don't do what? Does this make it better, Shags?
Perfect.
Pink Ranger. Nice.
I love you, Culture. Come on, man. It's been 3 years of this. You know we don't mean it harshly.
That's fine.
Shags, my apologies. Do go on. What is your pop culture consumer? I thought you said Lord of the Rings books, wasn't that? Oh,
the what?
I thought you talked about pop culture consumer, Lord of the Rings, essentially, or was that?
No, that's fine.
I'm getting mixed up. All right, Shags, go.
Yes, Steven Skull. Anyways, let's see. What did I consume? So I don't really consume a whole lot of the pop culture stuff, but I have. I've been watching the show Yellow Jackets since last year, since it came out. It's basically,
what is that on?
It's a Showtime.
Okay.
So it's pretty good. It's Lord of the Flies with a group of girls for a high school soccer team, and they basically become cannibals.
Oh,
and it's about sort of their journey from kids. So the show takes place when they're seniors in high school, and then flash forward 25 years and they're adults, and these timelines are sort of kind of coming together, and you're figuring out how screwed up everything is, and they've never told their story, but a lot of stuff is starting to come out. It's a It's really good. It's funny because I actually got someone to watch it, and at first they hated it, but now they recently came and apologized to me and said, actually, it's a really good show, and I'm really excited to see what happens. So there's a few moments where I have to roll my eyes because, well, there's not a whole lot of men in the show. What's that?
Okay. Yeah, progressive themes.
Yeah. There's not really a whole lot. There's a few moments because most of it, I mean, it centers around this girl's soccer team, but the coach is a guy, but he's gay. There are two brothers that are like, I don't know, I guess they're like the ball boys or something like that. They're there and they're pretty useful. The husband of one of the main characters is kind of a dope, but it's like it's just understanding enough because she's pretty fucked up, and I think they're dealing with a lot of like untouched trauma themselves. But it's actually a pretty good show. And I actually just recently watched Black Mirror again. But the
new season's coming out as well.
Yeah, and so my wife was like, "Oh, I want something new to watch," and I was like, "Oh, let's put on Black Mirror," thinking it would just start us at the beginning. But it opened up. It automatically played the Anthony Mackie episode where him and his like best friend are like, so they go into this VR fighter, but instead of fighting, they start fucking. Pardon my French.
Oh, good.
Like, it's the weirdest thing. It's like it seems so unnecessary, and then there's like this weird kind of gay tension with them in real life that he wants to keep exploring, and then Anthony Mackie's like, I don't know, I'm still kind of a like, no, not anymore. And it's so weird. It was such like a forced like diversity storyline that I'm like sitting there the whole time thinking like, I'm sorry, babe, like I didn't mean to waste your time with this. And she's like, whatever, there's 15 minutes left, let's just see what happens.
Yeah, definitely there's some definitely weird stuff in Black Mirror. Like you kind of see like the general audience like gushing about it. So I remember like my parents turning on like the very first episode, and that's the episode where the politician humps the pig.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, okay, so this is that kind of show. We won't be watching anymore.
Right.
That's the last episode. That's the first and last episode they saw. So,
and doesn't that one take place in Britain too? Like,
yeah, exactly. That was the funny thing. Yeah, the Prime Minister kind of reminded me of Greg Hancock. So, yeah. So there's probably some good stuff in there. As in dystopias, there's always some interesting episodes in there. I know there was like one with like a talent show essentially, with the actor that played a Nope. It does have interesting moments, but yeah, definitely. Might check out the new season. Don't for sure. Are you going to check out the new season?
Yeah, I do like that show. It like the first couple seasons I really enjoyed. I think I missed out on a couple, but no, it's good because I was always a fan of the Twilight Zone, like the old school Twilight Zone. And so I was always getting those vibes.
No, I thought you meant different Twilight Zone.
No, not the one by Jordan Peele. The like way, Okay. So yeah, so I really do like what they're doing, but that episode I was just like, what, dude? Like this is dumb. Like, uncomfortable. But yeah, I'll check out the new season for sure.
All right. Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing your pop culture consumption. Sorry that I missed you out, Shags. All right, let's get into the main meal of the show, which is the news. Alrighty, let's get on with this Disney shenanigans. As I've said recently, that I've just been literally looking through all these little news pieces, and they were all Disney related. Strangely enough, like this past news week, Disney projects have been literally falling down and taking a hit everywhere where you looked, essentially. And I wanted to start off with this one. We've got a whole bunch of news pieces, and this is one of the big things that stood out to me, and that is the lawsuits of false numbers, essentially. And from my understanding, this is essentially getting Bob Chapek as the fall guy for this. So, from my understanding, this is apparently falsified numbers for Disney Plus. Culture, Tom, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Tom?
Well, basically, I was going to let Culture take this over first, but this is an investor group who has their pension fund basically wrapped up in Disney, and they are accusing the company of lying to them over Disney Plus and the amount of money that it was making and the growth it would have. And I have a feeling this is going to be a trend because we also saw another lawsuit come up in November, I believe it was. And after some recent things that have happened this week that we'll probably get into in the course of the discussion here, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last of them. Like I said, I think we'll get a couple of these. Disney is under a microscope right now because of all the shenanigans. Go ahead, Culture.
No, and that's it. I mean, and then just to add real quick, it's actually it's worse. It's even worse than what Tom said. It's not just any investor's pension. It's a union local. Unions have a lot of power, more than they should have, but that's another conversation entirely. So I think it's Union 767 or something that's going after Disney because of all these misstatements. That's the way Disney would like to characterize them as, but you are not allowed to mislead or lie outright to your investors. So and Tom is right. I don't even think this is the beginning of it, to be fair.
Tip of the iceberg.
Because I think Tom, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're trying to make this a class action lawsuit, which means you're going to have
I believe it says that in there. And if that's the case, it could be one of those situations where, I mean, class actions can go two different ways. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But I think there's some grounds for this. I mean, clearly Disney has been lying to the public. And we've discussed stuff in the past where they've skirted the line on certain things. And, we've talked about the FTX scandal where we know clearly some individuals who are high up at Disney, Biker, and some others who had investments, but the company itself wasn't on the books as far as having an investment in it. But now we're actually getting to a point where they're clearly lying about some of these things. There's a lot of underhanded nonsense, and it's funny because I even had some people coming out and saying, well, if they're doing that, then it's highly illegal and they'd be getting caught. It's like, well, they're getting caught, right? Like this whole idea that they're making all this money on these movies. No, they're not. When you got to factor in $100 million of it, is Disney paying itself to stream the movie on Disney Plus? Just because you take $5 from one pocket and put it in the other does not mean you have $10 now, right? It just means you put $5 in the other pocket. You're still where you started. And I don't know if that's part of this, but I'm sure that factors into it. And just this last week here, I'm sure we'll get into, they pulled a bunch of stuff off the platform, which I don't think anybody's going to miss.
That's exactly the next news topic.
I was going to say, I don't know if you want to, I'm sure you want to get everybody else's opinion on the other parts too, but this is where I think Culture and I are basically thinking there's going to be a buttload of more to this because they dropped this news after they just had an earnings call. This is stuff that if they write it down for taxes, it cannot be released anywhere again.
Nope.
Right. So it will be lost to the annals of time. So in that respect, some people this is the one time I will say those people that are freaking out on the other side actually have a point. Yeah. They aren't wrong that these shows are now gone. Especially like I said, if they write them down. Now, if they actually stream them, license them out to other places, that has yet to be seen. But from what we've been hearing, they're going to write them down for what, $1.5 to $1.8 billion in write downs.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then right after, they waited until this last Friday to announce, oh, by the way, we're shutting down our big Star Wars cruise hotel thing in September, but I'm sure that's the next topic. So again, I think this is like more fuel for the fire at this point. What do you think, guys? I mean, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, definitely. I actually forgot to bring up I don't have the Star Cruise. That's a good point. I forgot about that. See, there's been so many news pieces of Disney essentially sinking like a Titanic, and the Star Cruiser is definitely another element of that. And I remember in the projections where Disney just said essentially, "Oh, it's our cricket numbers. You know, they've been going down." Essentially, I don't think that's entirely truthful. I know Neutrotic did a video on this, and overall, Disney Plus numbers have been going down.
Especially during the third season of Mandalorian, which is supposed to be their prime key show. And that's showing a lot, is that not even their mainstay, what the stuff they all are promoting, which started Disney Plus, was Mandalorian, right, is now failing.
Shags, what do you think?
I think you need to turn off light mode first of all.
Yeah.
Still
No,
kind
I
of bright
think-
outside, yeah.
I think the problem that with this is I don't think Disney's going to learn, because what I feel is going to happen with all this is they're going to turn around and be like, see, all these people keep saying our stuff is garbage. We didn't put out bad products. All these white supremacists, all these people who are misogynists, they don't like women, they don't like whatever. And it's like, this has nothing. I don't think anyone will take responsibility for what's been going on. But I think I forget what exactly it's called. I mean, you referred to it as a write down, Tom, but like, that's something that's like permanently there for investors to see, to the tune of $1.7 billion. Like, that's not something, like, that's a blemish for a long time. And honestly, that's something that needs to happen at this point, because they need to stop having the blank check to do all of this garbage.
No, you're 100% right, Shakes. This is basically what they did broadcast to their shareholders in the world this week was, we just wasted $3 billion.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
really, at the end of the day.
What's strange is I would say 100% right when it comes to just content, but how about we just whether it be physical content like the hotel or content like these shows or whatever. But I would also suggest that that perhaps it's broader than that. They never should have gone into this streaming business.
No, they should have known.
Exactly.
No, in fact, all these studios are retroactively learning that this was a very expensive endeavor, that they never should have looked at somebody else's yard and said, wow, that grass is greener, because that's go ahead, Shags. I'm sorry.
There's nothing wrong with the streaming service. Like, it becomes quantity over quality. Like, what they think they need to do is just put a bunch of stuff out, and it's never been about that. It's always been about, is your product quality? Because it's having a streaming service, I think, was the future, but everyone got too big too fast. They abandoned cable and then just remade cable 15 years later out of a bunch of these little streaming services. So I don't necessarily think that the streaming was a bad thing to lean into. How they went about it, I think, was the problem.
That's just it, leaning into it too hard, right? Relying on that to be the end all be all.
Yeah.
Where I've pointed out before, Disney Plus really should just be the Disney Channel Plus.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be anything more than that. And if they were to manage to have a hit, because really think about it, it took Netflix years to catch on, not just because of the technology, but they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
They didn't really have anything until Stranger Things that people are like, oh, I got to watch that. And, they had a few other things before that, I think, too. But it really took something like that for people to really take notice of Netflix outside of it just being another alternative to Blockbuster or Movie Gallery or what have you in your local rental system. Because it took a while for people to kind of be like, you mean I can actually watch movies through the internet? I don't know about that.
With the way Disney Plus went in general, like, I agree with everyone pretty much here, is that what they should have opened up with is not new projects. They should have opened their goddamn vault. They should have opened up all their kid specials from, like, say, the early 90s on. That means the old, like, Mighty Ducks, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, Dumbo Circus, all of, like, the specials they had, and done, like, Tom, we've even talked about this, like, then done seasonal models where they have, like, all their seasonal, like, made-for-TV movies coming out, and done something that was family-friendly. Not announced new Star Wars projects, not announced new Marvel projects that no one asked for, but focused on making people want to invest in a service that made them famous. And they never did that. They started going, hey, we're announcing all this crap, and all you're seeing is all these dollar signs, and everything else turned out to be a heavy criticism against the fandom that they did not like it. They picked it apart. And then when that criticism came more of a vocal, they started lashing out because they were failing. they were not listening, and they were telling us what we should enjoy. And then Disney Plus is starting to lose the numbers because of that. If Mandalorian is now failing, then that means it shows the thing that everyone has been talking about, but everyone hates hearing. Disney Star Wars in general is failing. Disney Marvel is failing. They are on the cusp of their own wake before they hit the cemetery.
I think Stephen, the biggest problem here is between the general audience didn't really associate Star Wars and Marvel with Disney until Disney Plus. That was first problem. Problem number 2 is the moment they put these things as TV shows, they devalued them.
Mm-hmm. They said, it's like you got to watch the show to get the movie. It's like they took the model of slamming Brie Larson, Captain Marvel in the middle, and then they used that for their whole template for their shows.
It's one thing to have like a Clone Wars cartoon or something like that. Yeah. It's another thing to have a live action series where Luke fucking Skywalker shows up. Like, I know people love that moment, but to me, I was kind of like, and I've had a long time to think about it. And since then, I'm still saying it was one of the worst moments to happen in the show, because ostensibly it kind of killed everything. It made Star Wars worthless because now it's a fucking TV show. I mean, anybody can show up at any time. Doesn't make one thing more special than the other. It's the same thing with like Mighty Ducks and some of these other things, Willow and stuff like that were put on this thing.
Willow was
bad. I mean, Mighty Ducks was actually pretty good the first season. But nobody watched it.
But I'm not even talking about like that type of Mighty Ducks. Like I used to watch a lot of the cartoons. Like everyone remember Saturday morning cartoons, right? That was like this.
Well, yeah. Well, that would be basically what I was saying.
They have a whole but they have a whole library there, Tom. And they didn't. Did they put any of it on Disney Plus without? Some of it is without censoring it. That's the problem.
Well, the censoring is a whole nother question. I mean, there's a lot of their classic stuff on there, but I agree with you, Stephen. It would have been economically more sound not to be spending, movie money on these Marvel and Disney shows for a streaming service where you're not going to be able to see that kind of return.
No, what they should have done is looked at the streaming service, gone out with their classic libraries, the content they already have, waited a year and see whether or not any of that stuff hit Nielsen, and then see where to focus their content to go. And then they would have started seeing
talked about it. Sorry. They screwed themselves like. Well, no, I'm sorry, Steve. I'm just saying, like, because what they've done here is they basically said, okay, we're going to make this thing specifically for Disney Plus. Okay. So they have cut out the theater. They've cut out any home video and video on demand rentals they could have. They've cut out a network and cable airings they could have had. They've cut out a streaming service like Netflix taking it on, to where you're right. This should have been, and what I was saying before, basically Disney Channel Plus. You have all the classic Disney cartoons, the classic TV shows, the Disney, the Mickey Mouse Club, all that kind of crap on there. And then, like you said, after Guardians of the Galaxy has done its full theatrical, video, cable run, and you've even made a couple bucks off of Netflix by letting them have it for 6 months, then it drops on Disney Plus when it's a year old. Who cares? Guess what? It doesn't matter that you're not making all the big bucks off it now, because it's already made its money. It's all freebie stuff now. And guess what? You are the permanent home for it. Nobody can find it anywhere else after that. And you've already milked it for every cent you can. It's like they are leaving so much money on the table, right? It is insane to think, why are you not investing more in home video? Why are you not allowing your movie to have a life? Look at Mario Brothers right now. It's having a life just because it's popular, because it's making money, it's making bank. It's number 3 still at the box office.
Well, the chickens are coming home to roost now, right? And I think that again, this is the moment that companies need to make the decision to look back, and like, this is the learning opportunity for Disney, like which you
said learning and Disney in the same sense. I'm sorry.
No, I know, and I know it's crazy to think, but that's the only way that they can preserve their brand and also what they have, because you're not going to go back to full physical media. That's just not going to happen. So they need to figure out, like, how do you and they just, all they need to do is look at movies like Tom said, like Super Mario Brothers. Like, what is it that made that movie work? It wasn't preachy. The only thing was, it was a fun story, great animation. And again, it becomes like quality. Like most of these things shouldn't have gotten out of the writer's room. Somehow they're greenlighting these projects that all they do is talk down to their audience. And I don't understand. I don't understand how at this point they can't like restructure and move forward.
Shags,
the thing is,
Sorry.
Oh yeah, go on. Thanks.
I got one thing. What Shags, I think everyone here is what they tried to do is they saw Netflix with Stranger Things and like, we're going to make our own Stranger Things and we're going to tell everyone they're going to like it because this is the only place it's going to be.
Right.
And none of their Stranger Things held, and their ego got tarnished, so they turned on the crowd.
Yeah, no, exactly. And every single streaming service did this. They saw the popularity behind Stranger Things. They saw how it took off,
But not the
how
magic.
it shop. Yeah, they totally did, and they all wanted a piece of the pie. And that's not the wrong way to go. It's the right way to go because you got to figure out, well, does this work? And for a myriad of reasons, it just doesn't work in the long run. No one's been iterating or trying to get better at this. It's just throw a bunch of content on there. You know, again, just every show we can, we're just going to throw a bunch of shit at the wall and hopefully something sticks.
And now, Shags, guess what they're going to do? Like, these random streaming services like your Paramount or your Peacock or whatever that one is, they're going to start essentially selling off their little series and your Disney Plus as well to other streaming services. Like
They
whoever
kind
will
of
take
already
it, kind of
are,
like
Yeah, Amazon's picking up Batman.
yeah, exactly. And I reckon you're going to see that a whole lot more, especially like with these shows. I remember this. I can't remember his name, but he was the showrunner for Willow, and he's like, "No, Willow isn't cancelled. What are you talking about? The actors just,
Kasdan,
signed the
yeah.
egg, so they
Yeah.
and it's just like hilarious. Your first season is getting removed now. Get fucked."
They're
It's
already
like-
Yeah, how much more
consolidating
canceled
these.
can you get than that? Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Shags.
I was gonna say they're already consolidating these streaming services, and you're going to see that again.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily the wrong way to go because you need to find a happy medium. You hope that whatever these places consolidate into, that they look at what they've done and they start making them better, or something pops up that's like, hey, we're going to take time. You know, one of my favorite shows of all time is Sherlock. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys have watched it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like every single episode, there's like 3 episodes per season. They're like a movie in each one. They're connected. But those took like a year to come out. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 years to like.
Those
get
are
released.
BBC produced though, aren't they? Or
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I said, yeah, they do shit different over there too. That's part of it too. But
Yeah.
no, and I totally agree with you. And I think Andre made the best point about this whole thing. Not to get back on physical media again, but to use an analogy, because I'm no fan of monopolies. I don't think anybody is. But I think we all kind of looked at Netflix in the wrong way ourselves, along with the studios, in a sense that we should have looked at Netflix as a format instead of it looking at it as a streaming service.
Well-
Because Hulu is the closest thing that we got to what you were talking about, Shags, where you had a couple of different studios working together, and that's what they should have done from the start.
Yep.
Is if they really wanted to compete with Netflix, Disney, Warner, Universal, and Paramount all should have just said, you know what, we're going to make our own freaking streaming service, all bought into Hulu, and use that to compete with Netflix instead of trying their own thing, because then it would have just been 2 competing services. Because right now this is basically worse than Betamax versus VHS. This is worse than HD DVD versus Blu-ray by a long shot. This is one of the worst things that could ever happen, because now you basically have 10 different formats to sift through. It's like, well, you want to watch this? Well, you got to have Paramount Plus. You want to watch this? You got to have Apple Plus. You want to watch this? You got to have HBO Max. You got,
Exactly.
There's literally 10, 12 different services now where everything is so spread out. Now, Amazon is smart that they kind of become a hub for about 90% of these services, and that's kind of where this is going to end up, is like an a la carte thing. But it's still at the end of the day not going to make anybody money, right? Culture.
Well, no, it isn't. In fact, you just actually took a whole thought process out of this conversation that I was going to bring up, which is the aggregator. Somebody who brings all of these things to one place, and that's the only way these streaming services are going to survive. Not one of them, not one of the newbies, outside of maybe the occasional effort that Peacock puts together, has produced a profit. As a matter of fact, not only are they just grossly overstated as loss leaders, they are a constant source of financial drain. You're always having to produce original content. So the only way to make it work is, as Shags and Tom have just eloquently stated, is to bring them all together in one place, which is what Netflix was, and that's why it worked. And Tom, I agree with Andre 100%. This was a format. And this is why this stuff this is why you can get away with making some trash, but you have to make good stuff, or you're going to be in a hole.
There it is. Sorry, can I add to that quickly?
Yeah.
You guys talk about format. What did Netflix start off as? A video rental box you would see on the corner outside stores, right? Yeah. So guess
well,
what?
no,
Netflix
actually,
is mailing.
Netflix was actually mailing. But
Yeah, mailing, but they
Redbox
did.
you're thinking of, but
No, but Netflix did have the outside boxes too, didn't they?
That's Redbox, I think.
Redbox does.
yeah, it was
Okay,
actually a
Redbox.
separate company.
Okay,
but
so
yeah.
they're mailing in. So it's pretty much they're doing the same thing. They're taking orders in for different franchises. They're putting it on their stuff, and then they're sending it back. None of these guys are doing that.
No, you're right. It pretty much worked the same way in that respect. Yes.
So they just they just turn. Yeah, that's just.
I don't
speaking of, sorry, go on, Shags.
No, I was just gonna say, like, just to put a bow on it, like basically saying, like, you'll probably end up with like three or four aggregators that that they each of those are vying for the attention of studios and stuff. And just like cable used to be, you could buy HBO separate, and each one will have their thing, and you could decide which one you consume the most of. Again, it'll just be a matter of time. We might not ever see that, but I think if these companies want to survive, they need to fix their model real quick, because it's not making them money, and people are sick of paying for 30 different
To be honest, I actually stopped. I don't pay for Disney Plus. I don't pay for Netflix. I get Amazon for free. I use Tubi and Pluto. I don't pay for anything. If I need to find it, there's other sources out there.
There are other methods on the internet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. A friend can share me their login, is what I mean, or something like that. But I find it more of a waste of money spending monthly waiting for one show or two shows than just having a code available and watching it when I can. That's where the physical media falls in, because usually people want to buy it, own it, and rewatch it when they need to. Like, let's say their internet goes out. What do we do? Oh, let's pop on this series.
We've got a question here. What do you think of Apple TV Plus? Hit and miss shows, essentially. Hit and miss shows. Got some really great ones. Got some really bad ones. And speaking of bad ones, have you guys seen this little score for the brand new Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? It's
if you even I thought it was a score. I thought you were talking about Aquafina's.
Get off my back.
It's an awful title.
It is. And the fact that I got this score is absolutely atrocious. And let's think about this for 1 second while watching this little clip that just shows how much of a hypocrite Kathleen Kennedy is. Because what it looks like is that Indiana Jones isn't that well written. And let's take a look on what Kathleen Kennedy essentially says about good writing, essentially.
Complicated issues.
She was asked here about the writer's strike, I think, so let us play this.
I wanted to extend the question about the WGA strike to Kathleen and Frank, since obviously it would be hard to go in production on a movie like this right now, and you have others pending. So how would you like to see that whole situation resolved?
Truly being an environment where people can talk about what are some really complicated issues right now that are affecting the entire
Congo.
When it comes to acknowledging the importance of writing, I think everybody up here has demonstrated that you can't do any of this without great writing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
all of the movies who create anything on television, I am in full support. I know most
sure you
people are in full support.
Frank is in another place.
And I think
Why is Frank and Kathleen wearing the same
what's
blazer?
the meta issue
She made me do it.
Is how is that being impacted by an industry that's
She made me
really
white
changing
because
in the
when I
midst
dump
of
coke on
change,
me, you can't
I
tell.
can't believe I
both
slept with this woman.
technologically and just
More than once.
aspects of how we work, and that's going to take.
All right, Bloody Baby
Like
Posh.
it's San Andreas' fault.
What
Yeah,
a freaking hypocrite.
Is the buzz gone?
The thing is, she knows nothing about good writing, and her goal just to speak about dear and poor writers. Yes, good writing is important. You haven't produced anything that was well written for the past 5 to 8 years. So it's just amusing to me that she says this with a film that has 52% on Rotten Tomatoes by critics, no less. What are your guys' takes on this?
Why is she wearing white? I feel like it's insulting.
I mean, I've been told before that light mode and white doesn't really mesh with your eyes, so I guess I should switch to the dark mode. But
I think the issue here, like listening to her talk, it's the same corporate speak. She gets up there and she has some sort of script that's laid out there for questions like this. They will never admit that they put out garbage until they're long gone. And even then, I don't even know if they would actually be truthful on stuff like that. And that's the problem with asking someone like her about, of course she's going to say, we believe in quality writing. Every single person on this panel knows that's not true. They are a content machine, and something comes across their desk. Oh, there's a woman in the lead. Just do it. You have full creative control. Go do it. It doesn't matter. Oh, just make sure the men don't talk down to her, and you're fine. Like all this stuff. And I mean, you just look at any series that's come out in the past 8 years from them, and it's exactly what you're getting. It's exactly what you're getting. So, what I think about this, I think it's much ado about nothing. And that's the only thing that she would have said. There wasn't going to be any sort of wow moment from her. I don't know, man. She's a waste of valuable air that the rest of us could be breathing.
Exactly. It just amuses to me that she talks about good writing, and she wouldn't even know if it hit her on the head. Essentially,
it's funny. It's funny too because she's constantly exposed by people that have worked with her in the past, especially her betters. Let's say Spielberg, for example. Saying essentially, the best ideas she had was bringing me a cup of coffee. I mean, maybe it wasn't exact. I might be paraphrasing, but it's just she oftentimes would bring the most inane idea to the table. She's not valued as a creative. She never was. She isn't. She's not a creative person. She's been valued for her organizational skills, which is what producers are supposed to do, right? They're supposed to organize and find money. That's what they're supposed to do.
For those who know culture,
you're a little low, Steven. I can barely hear you.
I'm sharing a screen right now.
Oh,
so there it is, and that's the meme culture is probably talking about. This
misogyny. That's accurate though.
And you actually have people say they don't understand the meme, right? So they're calling everyone misogynist. I'm betting I'm not. She says she hates men, treating glorified guy friend, which is clearly misogyny. She and George are friends. You clearly don't understand memes nor misogyny.
Wow. Okay, somebody didn't understand the reference.
No.
Again, this is why I enjoy commentary in this area, because people expose themselves rather quickly, and it's like you clearly don't have enough information to comment, so just find a quiet seat in the back and fall asleep.
The thing is, if George and her are friends, right? That's fantastic. It doesn't mean George cannot be unhappy with how she's treated the franchise. Even though he is given templates, right, with like how to dive in with like continuing the sequels and all, we can do all this speculation. But at the end of the day, she turned it, as well as Disney, into something it couldn't be. And we're seeing fruits of that over how many years now? 10?
Oh, too long. Too long. Well, I mean, that was probably the worst circumstance that could have happened, was having George trust her enough to hand over Star Wars to her. Because I mean, essentially, it allowed for her to pursue the radical feminist ideology that she ascribes to, and then put that on full display. Again, taking away the motivation for purchasing, the Star Wars, Lucasfilm in the first place. Every single time, and Paul Shadow does a great job explaining this, but it's always true in every corporation that I've ever been in. In the businesses that I operate myself, none of them suffer from these things. But for every corporation that I have been in, anytime there is a merger of equals or an acquisition, they say, we're going to leave you alone. We're not going to do anything with you. That's always a lie. They always turn you into their version of what you were. And that they take away or tear apart your culture that made you what you were in the first place.
Tearing down the foundation.
And exactly. So when Disney acquires, something like Marvel, something like, Star Wars, something like Pixar, when they acquire them, instead of leaving them alone or allowing them to still exist as their own wholly owned subsidiary that they don't put any footprint on, they try to roll them into their way of thinking. And let me tell you, the Disney difference doesn't exist anymore. It's now La Quinta culture at Disney. I'm not kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's rather frustrating. But I don't know, Shags, you think I'm on the right path there?
Yeah, I do. It's funny because I saw this video someone did about people complaining about Star Wars and how it sucks nowadays, and you basically just talking down to fandoms. And he was basically saying, you're just mad that the franchise didn't grow up with you. And I was like, no, like it is so far from that. Like I've personally, and I obviously don't speak for everyone, but I know a lot of you guys, like, it's never about, like, I don't need something to grow up with me. I still watch, kid movies, with my children, but I like them for certain reasons. But my entire criticism of the Disney universe has been, especially with the sequel trilogy, has just been this god awful writing and everything from it, everything that sort of spawned away from it. And if these companies actually listened to the criticism that was coming out, like if they actually stopped and like looked at some of the videos that all of us were doing, we're like, what's the common thread that I can pull through every single one of these? They might be able to come up with a halfway decent series, but they just refuse to. And I don't. The only thing I've seen that has like made me think, oh, maybe someone's listening is Picard season 3. That's about the only one that's like really shown that can sort of turn the corner. And I don't know if it's because of stuff that because of feedback they've gotten.
Yeah,
but
the thing is, like with Star Wars, I've got a question here. What George thinks? He did comment and say that he feels as if he stole Star Wars to the white slavers, and if that's not saying anything, then I don't know what is. But you're right about Star Wars essentially, and the thing, and your point about Picard season 3. There is still a chance for Star Wars to somehow survive, but not as long as they have the team that they have at Lucasfilm.
They need to move away from the Skywalker saga. They need to get as far away from that as possible. If they want any chance of saving it, they need to move away from it and come up with something original. They have bled that thing dry. Like, and the proof was in like with bringing Luke Skywalker into the Mandalorian. They knew they didn't have anything, and they thought, how am I going to keep people here? Well, let's tie this into the Skywalker side. Here's Luke. Here you go. And then everyone went freaking nuts. And
well, I would actually disagree with you there a tiny little bit. I think they should probably recast Luke Han, because I think that's what you sell essentially Star Wars on to normies. It's Luke, Han, Leia, and Darth Vader essentially. And if you want to get all audiences back in there, I reckon you essentially start again from erase Force Awakens and onwards, and start again from that point after Return of the Jedi.
Maybe.
Well, that would need a good team, and I know that's not going to happen.
But also, here's the thing too, and this is something that not enough people talk about. You don't need to continue shows. Stories can end, and that's something that like modern companies don't seem to want to do. They don't want to end stories because, again, oh, this made us money. How much money can we get out of it? Like Stranger Things. Stranger Things probably should have run for 3, maybe 4 seasons if they had done it right. But they got the dollar signs in their eyes, and I think they got a little too big for their britches, maybe got a little bit too much money, and they went nuts. They're just like victims of their own success.
Well, I think you're right, but the business side of that, when you step back from it, is corporations, especially these large entities, are very risk averse. So when they do find something successful, their whole MO is to clone it, because they have that's why nothing feels creative. There's certainly nothing new. It's because they're trying to create this formula. They looked at what the MCU was able to do which was became rather formulaic, right? And then they leaned into, well, we need to do that with all of our stuff. It's got to be this formula. We can't keep spending $60 million on these on these projects and getting nothing for them. We can't buy a script for $5 million, 50 to 100, depending upon how you split it, and and not get anything from it. It has to yield something in the end. Again, their risk averse nature, and because of the way they finance things. And if you're looking for great videos on that over the course of the last couple of days, I mean, Midnight's Edge just dropped 2. It's because of ESG being involved in stopgap financing, whatever you want to call it, but the interim financing game, and all of the other stuff that goes along with it, and all the enormous amounts of pressure that these NGOs, which I believe should be eliminated from the equation, are allowed to influence over just whether or not you even get money for your company anymore. So.
Well, and I do understand that, and that's a good point. And being risk averse is totally smart. Every company is thinking about that for sure. I just mean and I'm not even saying you write one story and then it's done. I don't mind if there's a universe that you're creating, but at some point, we need to know when to back that off.
I agree with you. I'm 100% behind you, man. I wasn't even criticizing you at all, Shags. What I was saying is, that's their thinking, and that's why they lack regular success, is because they don't take those risks. Look, you mentioned a show that I agree with you should have ended after 3 seasons. Stranger Things was tooled for a quick resolution, right? I think trilogies are, if you're gonna do something more than once, I think a trilogy is probably where you've lost the end of the rope. And now you're in free fall. So, and that's a reason, and Tom has pointed this out a million times. That's why, previously in Hollywood, sequels didn't do as good as the original. And a third film certainly didn't. That's a recent phenomenon. Tom, when did that start where we started to see sequels?
The 90s was a big time for sequels.
Comic book movies were the ones who really kind of set it off. Because before that, there was only a handful of sequels that have ever made more money than the original. Usually they did about half or less. There's only a few rare exceptions. But yeah, like Spider-Man 2, X-Men 2 is kind of where it really started being
early
the
2000s.
norm. Yeah.
We can go as far back as maybe even Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That didn't make more money than the first
movie.
Well,
I was thinking T2 was the real start of it.
T2 is one of the exceptions.
Right.
At that time, there's no reason T2 should have made that much money, but the fact that the Terminator had gained success through cable and video, and Arnold himself had become uber successful in the meantime, those were the 2 driving factors behind Terminator 2 being the huge movie that it was. It was a gamble for him at the time. I mean, that was the most expensive movie ever made back in 1991 or whatever. So
yeah.
Fats, I think your mic is buzzing.
Is my mic buzzing? I don't have anything on.
Yeah, I think yours is the one that's buzzing, unfortunately.
And I'm afraid. Yep.
All right, is that better?
No.
Yes, when it was muted, it was.
I pulled it out. No, I don't know why it's doing that.
There's something that's interfering with you or something. It's
It's also your level also went down as well. So
you'll have to go back and listen.
Okay, is it gone now?
Not really, but
it's
lower.
More faint.
It's lower.
Yeah, it's lower.
Yeah.
All right, how's this? Is there any buzz now?
No.
It's still faint, but
I don't have anything that's on that's buzzing.
All right. Shagsworth, would you like to do your outro, essentially? Unfortunately, you'll miss the next segment, which is the Pitch Me a Story segment. Would you like to plug in your stuff? Let the audience know what you do.
I'm sorry I can't stay. I really have enjoyed the conversation. It's an honor to be on the panel with these awesome fellows. And so if you guys aren't subscribed to my channel or follow me on Twitter, you can do that now. Hopefully, I do a podcast every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So it's at the end of your workday, but it goes up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's called Ready Set Shag. This week, I'm talking with Adam Coleman, who is the creator of Wrong Speak Publishing. He's an author. He wrote Black Victim to Black Victor. He is an awesome dude. I've been following for him a while. So we talk about his origins, where he's going, stuff he's been up to. There's a 2-week break that's happening right now for the midweek hump. We're like sort of gathering ourselves back, and we'll be back on my birthday, June 7th. And we're also doing a logo challenge for us. Like we haven't had any branding, so we're kind of letting the community dictate where things go. And if you're in my Discord or if you're in the Gilded, we can you'll be able to see the rules. I'll make sure I tag everyone as soon as the rules and everything go live. So, but thank you guys for having me on. This has been an awesome discussion. Tom, Culture, you guys are great. Fat Steven and True Pop, I really appreciate you guys having me here. I wish I could stay, but it is Sunday. It's kind of family day and stuff, so I got to get to it.
All right, man. Again, thank you for coming on.
Anytime.
I'll see you later.
See you guys.
Shags, love you, man. Thank you.
Alrighty. We do have several other news topics, but I think I'd like to go on to the next segment. That is the Pitch Me a Story segment. Since the show is only meant to be an hour and a half, I think we'll probably run into an hour and 40. I'll get straight to it and play the clip.
Before we do that, how's my mic now?
You still have a small hiss in the back. It's very strange. It's all right.
Interesting. Joe Manchin, yay! My Twitter best friend. Hello and welcome to the live stream. Glad to see you here.
This better? Is this the noise canceller was on it?
No, we still hear it's ever so soft, Steven.
There's got to be something that's interfering with your cord, or your cord's bad, one of the two, or something.
Yeah, it sounds like a grounding issue is what it sounds like.
All right.
You're grounded.
Okay.
Oh boy. Oh wait.
So,
all right.
This is the Pitch Me a Story segment. In this part of the show, each of the guests will get to pitch a short story, and towards the end we'll debate which one's the best, which one would definitely Hollywood make, and which one would be the worst and cheesiest. We're going to spin this wheel once, the franchise wheel, I call it, and it's going to be what all the stories are based on, essentially. So all stories are going to be either a Batman, Spider-Man, etc. It's in order to make these stories easier to compare and contrast and essentially and debate them towards the end of the show. The Pitch Me a Story segment is something I made because I'm very much so passionate about storytelling. I do write stuff in my spare time. Very much so interested in objective storytelling, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun to essentially do this sort of segments and share funny stories, essentially. Without further ado, I'm going to spin this one wheel, and then we'll go clockwise and spin some other wheels as well. That'll help you guys out in what the story should be. So the overall franchise of the stories will be... Dun dun dun. And it's Harry Potter.
Oh okay. Man. All right.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I almost got to write a Transformers script. I'm bummed out now. Already had a title. We were off and running.
All right. Now, I think. How about we start with you, Culture? First of all, we'll get to the genre picker. So it's a Harry Potter story, and your genre is action adventure.
All right.
Of course, it's Harry Potter because I know nothing about Harry Potter. Or do we all get different ones?
It's Harry Potter is universally, essentially.
Okay, so I'm screwed.
I'm sure the other wheels will help you out, Tom. And now we get to spin this wheel for you, Casino, which is the progressive message of your story.
Oh, no.
In here, we have feminism, capitalism bad, fat body positivity, racism, environmentalism, and teen drama.
Oh, no.
The 6 most insufferable themes you can find in any pop culture landscape.
My goodness.
Let's spin your wheel.
Give him something horrible.
And your theme is racism. Fascinating. All right. No one's getting the same thing twice, so I'm going to remove racism. All right. Tom, now it's your turn for genre. Culture, yours is action, adventure, and racism. I should probably write that down. All right. Tom, your genre is... And it's a... Okay, that's interesting. A fantasy or sci-fi. That might be a little tricky, but I guess we shall see. We shall see what you get. And your progressive message is... Perfect. Fat body positivity. Couldn't ask for more. All right. So it's your fantasy and fat body positivity. There you go. All right. And Stephen, your genre is... a mockumentary. And your theme is... Okay, interesting. Environmentalism. That's interesting. All right. So, culture. Yours was so universal theme Harry Potter, action adventure, and themes of racism. Pictures your short story.
Well, a new wizard arrives at Hogwarts. It's a transfer from the Asian school, the Asian wizarding school called Morslant, and they're struggling because many of the ethnocentric oriented British students, which is predominantly the folks that go to Hogwarts, shun them because of their incredible intellect when it comes to I don't know, quantitative algorithmic casting or some crap. Anyway, they find themselves this student, I haven't given a name yet. We'll worry about that later because I'll find something incredibly humorous and racist. That student finds themselves for whatever reason locked in one of the common rooms with three other ethnocentric focused British folks, and they have to discover a way to escape this common room because events continually take place that essentially try to eliminate them. The theme of this story is overall, obviously, racism. So it's called Hogwarts Hogwarts: The Search for Equality. And in the end, the ethnocentrically focused British folks, the bad guys here, they all become fast friends with this Asian transfer from the Asian school called Morslant.
Okay. Unfortunately, not enough goblins. I'm sorry. Minus points for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh wow! I got whose line is it anyway? Okay, all right. Yeah, the answer we're looking for is. All right, there we go. Thank you.
All right. That was your story.
It was a little thin. I needed more time. It was a little thin. If I would have got the fat phobic one, it wouldn't have been very thin.
You're great. You're great. Tom, yours was science fiction or fantasy
Mhm.
and fat body positivity set in the Harry Potter world. Pictures your story.
All right. Well, I got Harry Potter and it's about body positivity. So I will admit that I did use a little bit of Chat GPT for this.
That steals the goal. I know. I can hear you typing there. See,
Yeah.
Casino is using his brain. So there
No,
we go.
I'm trying to make sure my mic is fine. Is there a buzz gone?
You're good. You're good.
It's faint, but you're all right.
I swear to God, I think Tom has a buzz in his ears.
No, I just have very good ears. Okay, so Harry Potter gained some weight, and he is a little round in the gut.
I mean, it is set in Britain, so
yeah. His age, it's not good for a guy to be this size, but we had to recast him because of politics. So yeah, we've got more ally friendly Harry Potter, who just happens to be a little pudgy around the middle.
Is
And he
this the
hears
title, by the way? Chubby Potter?
Sure. One day, a group of magical scientists discover a powerful artifact called the Body Essence Crystal. Legend had it that the crystal had the ability to enhance a person's inner qualities, such as strength, intelligence, and courage. Scientists believe that by harnessing the crystal's power, they could create potion that would help individuals overcome their insecurities and embrace their true selves. So Harry heard about this discovery, and a flicker of hope ignited within him. So he saw an opportunity not to just address his own body image issues, but also to inspire others who have struggled with the same challenges. Determined to obtain the crystal and bring about body change, Harry sets out on a quest with his loyal friends, Hermione and Ron. Their journey took them through treacherous terrains, magical creatures, and ancient riddles. Along the way, they encountered individuals who embodied society's beauty standards, but were plagued by their own insecurities. Harry, Hermione, and Ron shared stories of their own struggles, spreading the message of self-acceptance and fat body positivity, of course. Finally, after facing countless trials, they reached the crystal's hidden location. The crystal radiated a vibrant energy that filled the air with anticipation. Harry, driven by his desire for self-acceptance and the empowerment of others, stepped forward to claim it. As he touched the crystal, a surge of power coursed through his body. He closed his eyes and focused on his innermost thoughts and desires. In that moment, the crystal granted his heartfelt wish. When Harry opened his eyes, he saw his reflection in a nearby mirror. In his astonishment, he had transformed. He had a larger frame, but it was now adorned with regal robes that accentuated his unique beauty. The crystal had not
I can
changed his
actually
body.
see this.
Instead, it had transformed his perception of himself.
Oh.
News of the transformation spread throughout the magical world, inspiring countless others, blah, 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 blah. There you go. Also, Harry, the hero with a large frame and an even larger heart, proved that his one's size should never limit their ability to make a difference in the world. With the power of self-love and acceptance, he showed everyone that true magic lies within each individual, regardless.
I don't think you can show self-love on screen, especially a kid's film. I don't think you can show that.
It's self-love of a different kind, though, Culture.
No.
I cheated, but you know what? It was funny.
It was highly.
Full disclosure, the only reason I cheated is because I know jack shit about Harry Potter. If it was anything else, I'd actually come up with something. So next time, I promise I won't use Chat GPT.
I'll invite you again on the show, and then we can discuss. You can persuade the producer to change franchise essentially. Pat Stephen, yours is environmentalist and mockumentary. Pictures your story. Yeah, Culture. What did you want to say?
You already have that. It's called an inconvenient truth.
Did he have it? Did he? What did he have? Did he have any goblins? No, you didn't even critique his script. I mean, come on.
That is true.
Why does it have to have goblins in it?
Goblins are everywhere. They infiltrated the world, don't you know? Pat Steven, are you with us? Can you picture your story? I'll take that as a no.
I'm just testing the mic. Is the buzz gone now?
Yes, you sound amazing.
All right.
Tom, before your anal ears.
Much better than it was. Okay, I'll just say that. Just leave it at that. It's fine.
So mean.
It's not mean. He's gonna say it every other stream I'm on. I'm gonna know. He does it all the time.
Just go back and listen to it later, and you'll see what we were talking about.
I know what you're hearing, but I turned on and listened to this device. I just upped the sample rate and turned something else off. So
it does sound much better. Yes.
All right. Good.
What I said.
Thank you, Culture. At least you're honest.
Though it is starting to crawl in now. But anyway.
What the fuck? Are you fucking with me? Don't do that. I hate audio issues.
All right. Just
wait, is it
don't worry about your mic.
Don't worry about it. I'm just picking on you.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh no, it's pitching too loud. My ears are bleeding. Never mind. All right, go on.
Fine, go.
Okay, Harry Potter and the Magic Conservation of Echo Marauders.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
What does that mean?
I don't friggin' know. That's ChatGPT. Tom
He
sent
used
me a script.
ChatGPT. I wrote it for him. I'm a ghostwriter.
Pretty much, the school is under attack. I'm not even looking at it right now. The school is under attack by wizards who refuse to help the environment with magic. So, in other words, they go back to natural means by pooping everywhere for natural fertilizer. Yeah. I forget the creature's names. Which is the one that screams and hurts you? What are they called? I don't know.
Screechy McBeachies? I don't know.
That's right. Throughout the journey, Harry and his crew are chased down by VC enthusiastic echo wizards. And they have to... I don't even know. I don't have a story. I was fixing my audio. I was really fixing my audio. That's how paranoid I got.
You're an environmentalist, Harry.
Ultimately, through their comedic exploits, the Echo Marauders learn a valuable lesson and dedicate balance between magical creatures and the environment. What are you talking about? It's just the worst mix. Harry Potter says cutting down trees are bad, and the Ents agree. The Hobbits hug their ankles because we're doing a crossover. And the environmentalists say because they cast a spell making the rest of the world realize that climate change is not real, and everyone's saying the Earth is flat is nuts, and put them on their own flat island. At the end.
I'm
borderline apoplectic at this point in time because I'm the only one.
And the goblins came in and sang Yub Nub just to make Culture happy. Blame Tom for making me paranoid about my audio.
I think Culture won.
I think Culture deserves the award for originality.
Yeah.
He also used ChatGPT.
He probably did.
You know, I'm gonna have a writer's strike on this channel, and from thenceforth, there will not be any ChatGPT or AI used of any kind.
There you go.
You guys heard, by the way, apparently the Actors Guild might strike as well. There.
Did you guys? Yeah. On a side note, did you guys see the China poster for Little Mermaid?
Or what did they?
It's blue.
Make Mermaid white.
I'll get it for you just to make
up
for
very blue.
The washing that they did on the poster for China.
Very, very blue.
I'm blue.
Right, you can't tell she's black.
You can't tell she's black, basically. No. Yes.
At least I would have highlighted her hair red, but you didn't even do that.
What's interesting into the Spider-Verse poster, they actually showed Miles without his mask, which was
I want to be
brave.
where the white people are,
singing, dancing, getting canceled by the day.
You don't criticize that one dance that they can do, nothing more.
Please don't criticize this movie or
kind of looks like
one of these three as topics: racist, phobe, or honest today. Comb your pubes with that fork over there. Never mind, I can't do this shit. This
Nothing like good old racism to get butts in.
That's what they should do. They should sell the racist box set, only released in China, and everything's just whitewashed.
Wow,
amazing. Your guys' story was great. I think Culture definitely won with the originality.
Yeah.
Tom, your story I could definitely see being made.
Actually happening, yes. Yeah, I could see that.
But not Harry Potter, essentially.
Right.
Some pink-haired, fat wizard, essentially.
Trans
girl.
Wizard, yes.
Yeah, exactly, with pronouns and maybe a tattoo somewhere.
I'm beautiful bitch would be the theme song.
Exactly.
By Lizzo.
Sorry, that's ice cream van outside me, and it's just making.
Oh, is it?
much
I was
sense.
like,
Yes.
are you watching Popeye? It's like that's what it sounded like for a second there.
It's the ice cream man. It comes at the same time every time, and it's just like, I should really learn to close the window. But on that bombshell of the ice cream van, I think it's reminding us to finish off the show. It was fantastic having you guys on. Thank you so much for coming on. Pat Stephen, would you like to tell the people where they can find you and what you do essentially? Are you fixing your mic again? He probably is. Culture Casino. What would you like to take over for Pat?
Let's see. I have a YouTube. Well, that too. I have a YouTube channel. I have a Rumble channel. I have an Odyssey channel. You can find me live 5 days a week doing the 6 Minute Daily weekdays. That would be just a bit. Well, it's very similar. Wait a minute. No, it's like midday for y'all in the UK, but it's in the morning in the States, and usually go for 12 minutes on the 6 Minute Daily, which means it's increasingly misnamed. And that's just basically
just long enough to listen to while you're on the turlet.
Exactly, and right before Midnight's Edge in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yep. But no, I'm in a lot of places, including Twitter and Minds. And that was coming. Yeah.
I was wondering where that was coming from. That was Tom, right?
Oh yeah. You can find Tom and I together an awful lot, which brings into question a lot of things. I know. You know what? I'm done talking because apparently
that's Steven trying to do his thing.
I love you, Culture.
That's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
The only thing that I have is this, essentially.
Anyway, apologies again for being late. I really did enjoy myself, so I will try to be on time next time. So.
Oh, no worries. Either way, I'm glad you came by. Tom, would you like to give us your spiel, essentially?
You can find me hanging out on Midnight's Edge, Midnight's Edge After Dark, all that business. We just dropped a video. I know we got another Conan update coming up, so stay tuned for that.
Man, that video is great, Tom. You and Andre are crushing it right now, bro.
He does crush it a lot.
Well, I mean, you sit down on things and crush them.
Wow. Now he wonders why he's not getting Midnight Edge snacks.
Hey, I deserve it sometimes.
You know what? That fat body positivity story it suited you. It you well. I feel like
you didn't see that movie, Harry Potter and his fat ass.
Because all these writers say, "Oh, I can empathize with this character because they're trans or black or whatever." What if you're writing a story about a lizard? Do you have to be a lizard to empathize or what, essentially? But I think you'd be perfect for
it's mental disorder at this point. That's all it is. It's really just mental. I think I got rid of it. The mental disorder. It is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm not going to identify as a prune tree one day and then like a peanut the next, just because I want to fit some quota of where I want to fit in with people. If you can't be secure with yourself, no matter how many times you identify as an object or something, it doesn't fit the problem that you are not comfortable with yourself, and you need to find the root of that first. No one else can fix it. It's the same thing we're seeing with Disney's pandering everywhere else, but to the one thing: entertainment and families. And that's why they're failing.
They're no longer a family company, but that's another.
Yeah.
Culture. I think this is directed at you. It could be directed at Tom. You never know.
Probably me.
You never know.
Now you're only coming out of the left speaker there, Steven.
Oh, that was cool.
Is that better?
Now you're coming out. No. Yes.
Oh my.
Yes, actually, it's better. Don't touch anything.
Just throw your mic out the window. That will do us all.
No, Valiant, give me this. It's a Rodecaster mic, okay, with a Scarlett.
Whatever you did, seriously, the buzz is gone. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, he and I are both telling you you're fine.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sexy. I'm not a hippie. I'm not.
He's not a hippie. No, Culture would never be a hippie. He's too famous to be a hippie. He was in Shrek. I love you, Culture, so much. Imagine what I could do with those in your thumbnails. Culture's the hardest working. Yeah, Culture's the hardest working man on YouTube and deserves everything, including a colonoscopy.
Okay. Culture, do you have anything to announce? Do you have
No, I did it all. I whipped it all out right at the beginning when Steven.
No, I meant in sense of like what needs a colonoscopy essentially.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Okay, yeah, good health wise. Okay, thank God. Yeah, so I'm True Pop Culture 7. You can catch me on my channel essentially. I do animated stream highlights of your favorite shows, which is the Critical Drinkers Open Bar, F&T, and Every Frame of Pause as well. Yeah, expect this show to be on for every Sunday, 8 p.m. British time. I think also I was meant to promote this. Anyone in the audience, if you have any stream highlights from the Fellowship that you found particularly funny, do DM them or tweet them at me at TrueCulture7. I could most likely make a little funny edited video on it essentially, and that stream highlight essentially won't go down the memory hole. It'll instead be immortalized in a funny edit. So yeah, that's at TrueCulture7, or you can just leave a stream highlight and time code in the comments below on the YouTube channel. I read all my comments essentially, so I'll definitely see it if you comment down below. I think that's all for the show. Again,
you can find me
thank
on
you.
Rumble and YouTube.
I do have also a Odyssey as well. I backed up the channel. None of the videos are working. I don't know if they process right, so I'll probably plug that in when it's all nicely set up. Never hurts to have like a backup channel, I guess. Thinking about doing Rumble as well, but we shall see.
You should.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for coming on. And to our watchers, you've also been wonderful. Thank you to you as well, and Joe, for coming on in the chat. It's good to see you in the chat. And yeah, that'll be all for the stream. I'll see you, everyone watching. See you later. Bye.
Bye. Get to promote.